Salut survivors, SolutOdka here, back with another exciting Civ 7 video guide that's going to transform the way you play the game. Last week, we uncovered the secrets of adjacency bonuses and their mechanics. But this week, we are taking things up a notch with urban master planning. This is a crucial step that will turn your cities into thriving metropolises and give you the edge over your rivals. In this video, we'll deep dive into Part 1, Urban Master Planning. Get ready for an in-depth exploration of how to create a master plan that considers all the vital parameters. And this isn't just about placing buildings, it's about crafting a city that stands the test of time. As a part 2, we'll go through the actual design and build orders. We'll walk you through the process of designing your cities and optimizing build orders to maximize efficiency and growth. We'll focus on your first city during the Antiquity Age as our primary example, but the strategies and methodologies we'll discuss are universal and can be applied to any city and any era. Stick around until the end for a comprehensive summary that ties everything together. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more Civ 7 content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest strategies and guides. Ready to become the ultimate city planner? Let's get started, survivors. Part 1. Urban Master Planning. So during this first part, we will analyze each of the vital parameters and in which order to do so, ideally, in order to list down all the options for the design of your city. We'll subsplit it into 4 parts. 1A, what are the really good tiles? So when you start and you have a city, the first initial step is to identify what will be the really good tiles of your town. So here in this game, as an example, we can look at what are the really good tiles. For this, we need to remember the adjacency bonuses. So we look at all the navigable rivers and coastal tiles. We look at resources. And we look at mountains and natural wonders if you have some. So if you look at this example here, I have 4 resources and 3 tiles that are connected and will have adjacency bonuses from 2 resources each. And then, when you look at the coastal tiles, I will have 1 navigable river here that can be connected to 2 coastal tiles plus 1 navigable river. That's a good one here. And then I have another one connected to 3 coastal tiles. When it comes to the mountains, it's really bad in this spot. I just have these 2 tiles adjacent to 1 mountain. So we have listed 2 possibly good tiles adjacent to mountains, 3 possible good tiles adjacent to 2 resources each, and 2 possible good tiles beside my city center, obviously. 2 possible good tiles for quarters adjacent to coastal and navigable river. Now once you have established these different parameters, you have accomplished this first step 1A, what are the good tiles? A few notes for you when you do this strategy. You need to look at having different options, also compare them. For example, this good tile here and this good tile here, one is only at a radius of 2 or distance of 2 from city center. This one is at a distance of 3, but it's actually more because there is a resource along the way. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles to access there, for example, right? So you need to compare and rate your different good tiles, how you're going to do that. Some are closer, some are further away. Also, you can consider on the long term to get some wonders. So some can get bonuses from a wonder. I have another city where I can show that a bit better, this parameter. Another thing to consider is which one you would like to target first, right? Then, as a step 1B, then is where would be the urban connectors. Now in our case, we discussed that the good mountain tiles are these 2 here. So the urban connectors could be here, these 2 tiles, or these 2 tiles, or these 2 tiles. That's a possibility. So here likely some urban tiles one day in the future. About the resources adjacency tiles, we enumerated this 1, 2, and 3. So for this, because there is a river, I cannot easily connect them. On this tile, it can be easily done here. Now this one there, as you can see, I have already prepared in that game. I am turn what here, turn 11 on that save, and on that spot I can connect. Then if I build this as an urban connector, I will unlock this spot adjacent to 2 resources and this spot adjacent to 2 resources. So here, at this point in time of this game, I have already kind of planned to have one urban connector here to connect this, one urban connector to connect these two. Then in the future, I could have an urban connector here in order to unlock that tile, or an additional urban connector here after that first tile in order to unlock this one. And here I would need, if I already have unlocked this urban connector here, then I could just add one more urban connector here and unlock this tile. Okay, so as a summary here, I could have urban tiles on this western side, one, and then a good spot, another second urban tile, second urban connector, and this good spot, which also unlocks that one at the same time. Then I would have another option in the north, and one option in the east. That starts to give some ideas on where could be the urban connectors. That's the step 1B. And it's important at that moment that you have a couple of options in mind, right? So you start to draw a map of what are the really good tiles, 1A. Then you start to map where could be the urban connectors, step 1B. Next step, step 1C. What could be the rural tiles? Now that sometimes can be a bit tricky, because what could be the rural tiles will depend on a few parameters. One, you will need to look at what are the good yields you can get in your area. Let me turn on the yields there. And obviously I'm beside the desert, so in that example it's not the best yields here. But sometimes it can be an area which is really good for farms, or really good for mines, really good for woodcutters. And in this case, here in my game, I say, okay, early on, my good tiles would be the fishing boats. But later in the game, what could be other good tiles for me? Well, all in all, I will have for sure 3 plantations and 1 pasture. So a granary would likely be useful later, right? And by doing this process on what could be the rural good tiles, then I'm defining what would be my ageless urban connectors. Here I have said that I could have plantations and pastures, therefore I could have a granary, 1, and 2, I could have fishing boats, therefore I could have a fishing quay. Therefore, these two are probably 2 good urban connectors option earlier in the game. So we have defined what could be the rural tiles in that city. Next is, as the last step of this first phase of the urban master planning, the phase 1D, it's the considerations besides the geographical situation on your map. At that point in time, you will have different targets in terms of sciences, technologies, civics, strategy. So you don't necessarily just look at your geography. You need to also look at what will you do this game, right? And what will be your sciences, obviously. So here in my case, because I have 3 good tiles at proximity for science and production, very likely library and barracks will likely be one of the first to go for. Now in the future, as we have seen, there was also some good tiles adjacent to the coast, so probably it can be interesting for the bath and the market, as it can be a good spot. This could also be influenced to some extent if you have some civ special quarters, right? So depending on your civilization and your special quarters, that could also impact your science. And if you have identified a wonder that is really important to your strategy, or that would be really interesting for future adjacency bonuses in your cities, then probably that would also impact your considerations besides purely the geography. Now, when you are completing this phase 1 about the analysis of your situation for your city, 1A, what are the really good tiles? 1B, where would be the urban connectors? 1C, what could be the rural tiles, and 1D, considerations besides the map. You have then completed your phase 1 of the analysis of your situation. And then you will go into this step 2 about the actual design and your build order. During this step 2, you will have 3 sub-steps in this methodology. Step 2.A, one step is to list down your connectors. What are your optional connectors? So you can take a pen and paper if you want and you write them down. And in that case, as we discussed here, taking this game as an example, we said granary can be one option. But I started with a fishing boat, so likely it will not be the number 1. Probably number 1 would be the fishing quay, that fits well here. And in the future, the granary maybe could go here. It's an option. Or actually, I think in the game, I think I built the granary there. We'll load the save further. Okay, we are now much later in the game. I mean, at the end of the Antiquity Age to see better how did the city evolve after our quick analysis earlier. And indeed, as you can see here, I had built earlier on the fishing quay, unlocking the library and the barracks, permitting them to build the granary, and in turn here the garden and the market, as we discussed earlier. Now it's important during this step 2A to list down what will be your connectors. It depends on your map, it depends on how many you need, and so on. So that could be some of the ageless ones, but be careful that the ageless ones are by definition ageless, so don't go too much on the ageless because you will never be able to overbuild on them in the future. This could also be the altar, this could be the monument, this could be some buildings that you will somehow not maximize and sacrifice a little bit. We can see that here. I built the villa and amphitheater quarter, not in the best spot, obviously, but it unlocks a better spot in order to come closer to the mountain, so that when I will be in the next age, this tile will be ready to be here. And then, as a step 2B, you can work on the phasing of your construction works, your build order. So in order to do that, then what can be very useful is a summary table for the current age where you are playing. Now here, in this example, for this video guide, we are utilizing the Antiquity Age as a playground. So I made this list of the different buildings of the Antiquity Age. Let me know in the comments if you find it useful. I'm thinking to maybe do it for the next ages. So as you can see here, you have the summary of what are the currency unlocking, right? So you have the market, the baths, for example, irrigation, the garden, sailing, fishing quay, and you can have a look at your culture, masonry or engineering. And basically when you have this list, you can then utilize that list in order to have your build order. Earlier, during the phase 1, you have assessed what were the really good tiles, assessed where would be the urban connectors, and what could be your rural tiles. Now in this design phase, you have enumerated what would be your possible connectors, and now comes the actual design. And when you utilize what you have noted before, and you utilize this list of buildings linked to your sciences and their adjacency bonuses and what perks they have or what requirements they have, then you can actually do your phasing of the works as I did here as an example. So one last step before we go into the wrapping up and the summary is to make sure in step 2C to review your priorities, because here we did like an analysis in a very theoretical mindset, right? You could have artificial intelligence to do it for you if you wanted to. You just program it and it will do it for you. So you need to take a little step back once you have finished your draft plan, and you need to review your priorities. Maybe your entire plan will be influenced by other parameters. Maybe your build order will change because of the timings to produce settlers. Maybe your library and barracks will not fit well in terms of your timing of your technology and research. Will you go more for more food or more prod early on? Can also affect your strategy for your planning order for the construction phasing of your quarters. Maybe you are at a risk also to be attacked by independent barbarians. Or you can also be affected by how will you spend your gold. If you have plenty of cash, maybe you will buy your buildings, and then no problem. Therefore, at that point in time, you need to be a little careful, I think, to not just like have your, let's say, logical reasoning that have defined the perfect city plan that in fact will fail you if you don't consider the other parameters around you. I prefer to do have this as a disclaimers and just like, have some of you try this methodology and then fail. I'm here to help you get better with the game. Now, there are many other things we could debate about, but I think it's not necessarily the point in this video about food versus prod, about specialists, about what quarters should be your priority. I don't want to be locked in on any specific one on this. I prefer to keep like this methodology to be like a step-by-step process. Keep it open and applicable to any city in any age, right? So, to wrap things up, you will have in this methodology a phase 1 for your overview urban master planning, during which you will define what are the really good tiles, where would be the urban connectors in order to connect the really good tiles, what could be the rural tiles depending on your yields and depending on your resources in your city, and also consider the other aspects besides the pure geography, your science, your civics, your strategy, your possible civilization special quarters, and so on. After you have completed this analysis, which at first can seem long and cumbersome, perhaps, but honestly, once you practice a little bit, you do it relatively fast, you analyze a map quickly. So, in the second step, after that, you will work on your design and build order, with a step 2A to list down your connectors, step 2B to work on the phasing of your works, that's the actual design phase, and after that, in order to validate, you'll need to review your priorities and maybe adjust the plan during the game. This way, I hope it has been a useful video for you to get more ideas on how to build your city. Oh, and I wanted to mention something a little bit earlier about the wonders. For example, here in Guangling, I have some really good spots, like this tile is adjacent to 2 resources. This tile is adjacent to 2 resources. This tile is adjacent to 2 resources. I can tell you, I am not building anything else than a wonder on that tile. That wonder will give adjacency bonus. Sorry. This tile will give adjacency bonus on the west, on the east, and on the southeast. It will give +3 adjacency bonuses in addition to these tiles. So for sure, I will not build here any district, and I will keep it free for a wonder. So this actual planning is a perfect example here that it's really useful to do that when you are building your city, or when you have a town and you wonder if you want the town to become a city or not, right? On that note, let's toast to the like and subscribe buttons. I appreciate very much the support. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next videos. Cheers!